Hello, my friends. Hi, it's Miss Lacey. I'm not wearing a mask because I'm in my home. Would anyone like to say hi to Wayne Bissy? Yeah? Hold on one second. Say, hi, Wayne. Bye, Wayne. We'll set him down there. That way he can feel like he's still part of things. Today, I have another snowy book for you. It's called One Snowy Night. It's by Nick Butterworth. On the back, we've got some little creature here. It looks like maybe a little mouse. It's inside a hat and it says, knock, knock. Now, who can that be at this time of night? Asks Percy, the park keeper. It is a cold winter night, and some of Percy's little friends want a warm place to stay. One by one, they knock at the door. Knock, knock. How interesting. And look, here we have all of these little woodland friends. They're all waiting so politely at the door. Let's see what this story is, huh? It's cold in the park in winter, but Percy the park keeper doesn't mind. He puts on his warm coat and his big scarf and wears 2 pairs of woolly socks inside his Wellington boots. Percy likes to be out in the fresh air. Okay, so here we are. We're at this park, and I guess this must be Percy here. Oh, he's saying hi to that pretty bird. Hello, pretty bird. In the middle of the park, there is a little hut. It's like a little house. This is where Percy lives. When it gets too cold to be outside, Percy goes into his hut where it's cozy and warm. The animals who live in the park all know Percy's hut. Every day, he shares his lunch with them. So here we have the little hut. And oh, there he is sharing. Sharing is caring, right? Yeah, he's helping his nature friends. One winter's night, it was so cold that it began to snow. Great big snowflakes fell past the window of Percy's hut. Brrr, said Percy. I think I'll need an extra blanket tonight. He made himself some hot cocoa and got ready for bed. Suddenly, Percy heard a tapping sound. There was somebody at the door. Now, who can that be at this time of night? Thought Percy. He went to the door and he looked out. So here's his little snack he's making himself before bed. And there he is looking out at the snow. Ooh, look at those flakes. That looks like a soothing night. Good to be inside, though. There, at the step, was a squirrel. It looked so cold and miserable. I can't get to sleep, Percy, said the squirrel. Okay, so here we have a squirrel and it's standing on the steps and it's talking. So do you think this is a pretend story or something that really happened? This feels like maybe a bit of pretend, right? Though I'm sure there are plenty of woodland creatures who would love to get inside when it is cold outside. My bed is full of snow. Oh dear, said Percy. Never mind. I've got plenty of room for 2. The squirrel snuggled down next to Percy and soon began to feel warm. Oh, see, they're all snuggled up. Knock, knock. It was the door again. Now, who can that be? Thought Percy. Standing outside were 2 shivering rabbits. Oh, look at them. Oh, they're so cold. It's freezing, said one rabbit. We're frozen, said the other. You poor things, said Percy. Come on in and warm up. The rabbits squeezed into the bed next to Percy and the squirrel. There wasn't much room. Could you face the other way? Percy asked the squirrel. Your tail is tickling my nose. Knock, knock. Oh dear, said Percy. Now there's someone else at my door. Oh gosh, who do you suppose it can be? It was a fox. He looked very cold and hungry. Can I come in too? He asked. Percy scratched his head and he thought for a minute. Well, if you promise to behave, he said. What do we know about a fox? They eat meat, right? What does Percy have in his house right now? He's got 3 delicious snacks. Yeah, but he's made the fox promise to behave. They're not going to be snacks for that fox tonight. I promise, said the fox, and he squeezed into bed next to all the other animals. Bump! Whoops! The squirrel fell out. Who did that? Asked the squirrel crossly. Oh dear. There was plenty of room for the little squirrel, but now it's getting a bit crowded. Knock, knock. Good gracious, said Percy. It's the door again. This time, Percy had quite a surprise. There, on the step, was a badger, 2 ducks, a hedgehog, and a whole family of mice. They all wanted a bed for the night. Oh, goodness. All right, so here we have the badger and the ducks and the hedgehog and the mice. Now, this story is probably set in the UK, maybe England or Scotland. In America, that badger would not be very friendly. It would not be someone that you wanted in that house. But they're a little bit friendlier over there. Poor old Percy. And poor old Percy's bed. The animals pushed and shoved and rolled around the bed, but there was just not enough room for them all. Oh. Soon the bed covers ended up in a big tight ball. Oh goodness. That's just too many. That's just too many. They're going to have to figure something out. Then, bump. The covers rolled right off the bed and everybody fell onto the floor. Oh dear, said Percy. This won't do at all. My bed is just too small. Suddenly, one of the mice pricked up his ears. What's that noise? He squeaked. What do you suppose he hears? Everyone listened hard. Now they could all hear it. There was a scratching, scraping sound coming from underneath them. There's something moving under the floor, whispered Percy. Oh gosh, something's under the floor. The animals looked frightened. Oh, here's the floor. And the mice all started to squeak at once. Oh dear, what can it be? It might be a monster with fierce claws and sharp teeth. The noise grew louder and louder. Then one of the floorboards began to move. Look out! It's coming up through the floor. Suddenly there was a loud creak. Help! Cried the animals as they all ran to hide. Oh, they're scared. Oh goodness, what in the world? See, they were all very polite and they had knocked on the door before coming into this house. They knew who should be in the house. That's Percy. Percy is the one that lives in the house. So they knocked politely and they asked to be let in. But this something is pushing up through the floor. That's very unsettling. I wonder what's going to happen. But Percy wasn't frightened. He started to chuckle. Then he laughed out loud. A small, dark head was sticking up through the floorboards. Oh, is that a great big monster? No, that's not a great big monster at all. This isn't a monster, said Percy. It's a mole. I'm sorry to burst in like this, said the mole. I knocked on the door, but nobody heard me. Oh, everyone was making such a ruckus. No one was able to listen for the sound at the door. That's why it's important not to be too loud when you're inside. It can make it hard to hear. Percy helped the mole up through the hole in the floor and sat him on his hot water bottle to get warm, and he put the floorboard back. "It's all right, everyone," he called. "You can come out now." Oh, look, that's a hot water bottle right there. What you do, it's like a little water balloon, but it's thick. You fill it up with hot water, and you put the little stopper in it, and then it helps keep you warm and snuggly. Nobody moved. Nobody stirred. Nobody wanted to come out. The squirrel was tucked away in a pocket of Percy's dressing gown. The hedgehog was in his coat. The fox, the rabbits, the badger, and the ducks were all safely hidden away. The mice had even squeezed themselves into Percy's slippers. Everyone had found a cozy bed. "Well, I never," said Percy. "Look, they fit just right inside his little shoes. See, there's everyone. They're all tucked inside his drawers and his coat. They found places all over the house. Oh, my goodness. How creative. They found places to go." Percy yawned. And he snuggled down into his own bed once again. "That's better. Now I've got plenty of room," he said, "and a little to spare." For a mole. Oh, they'd all started off snuggling with Percy in the beginning, but there just wasn't space. So they found other places that they could be instead. What a sweet story. You know, sometimes it can be a little lonely or a little uncomfortable when you're feeling all by yourself in your own space. So you might be tempted. You might say, maybe it's time to go climb in with others. That way I won't be so lonely. But it makes it kind of uncomfortable for everyone if there's too many bodies in one small space. So maybe there's another way that you could feel a little less lonely and a little more comfortable in your own space. Instead of climbing out of your bed and leaving your room to go find someone else to snuggle up on, maybe you could try bringing a few more soft things into your bed. Maybe you could open up the door a crack so that way you feel like you're still part of things, even though you're not all up in those things. Talk with your family and see if there's a way that you can make yourself feel a little less lonely in your own space, but still stay comfortable. See, maybe you can find a solution to that problem that doesn't involve having everyone in the whole house in one small bed. Well, that's all the time we have for this story. Thank you so much for being such great listeners. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'll talk to you guys again next time, all right? Bye-bye.